Screen Gems, a Sony corporation, has put out a new trailer for the Until Dawn movie. It starts with an arm, the hand bloody and ragged, reaching out into the dirt as they crawl, presumably away from something terrible. Then we cut to a second person as she begs for her life in a similar circumstance. Who was the first person? The same character in a different outfit? We're gonna have to guess based on shirt color and sleeve length. So, the slasher dude uses a pickaxe here? Neat! Then we get a look at everything rewinding so that the horrors can start over, and Dr. Hill starts talking about how there's a place up the road that's stuck in time. We get the shot of the beautiful forests of Hungary, or maybe Romania? I'll check where this was filmed. Point is, these are very beautiful forests. Then we get a look at a town that's in the middle of sinking into a swamp. Does this mean the characters in the film will also get to live out Bradley Whitford's dream of seeing a merman? Or are they too close to Cabin in the Woods already? Who or what is the Glory Witch? Have we already seen her? Here's a segment of them running down a tunnel in reverse. The door was played forward though. Interesting how they're jumping back and forth like this. Also, are they really rewinding the action or are they just resetting it because it's a new thing every time? Based on the shirt color and sleeve length, any of these three could be the person from the first shot in the trailer. The shirt from that shot seems to end in a cuff, so maybe we'll get a closer look at someone's arm in the next shots. Now they're in a hallway and here's something behind them, which leads to a cut to the Wendigo footage we've already seen. I don't know how I feel about a Wendigo with hair. I'm also disappointed that they're not using the speed ramping technique for making Wendigos seem alien. This one in the background moves off at a pretty normal speed. But part of what makes the Wendigos so memorable is the way they zip around at inhumanly fast speeds, and appearing in frame for a jump scare just isn't the same thing. One question and one observation. Question, does that Wendigo have her sister's locket with the two characters in them? Is that what she's dangling there? And two, the observation, this is the thing I love about 4K trailers. You can zoom in way too close to the point where we can see that the Wendigo performer seems to have a stocking on that's painted to look like a bare foot and desiccated leg, rather than going to trouble of putting all of that makeup on for a character who's going to be in the background. Fun fact, when I was in the movie Land of the Dead, there were like the zombies up front who all had makeup done. So there was like, in every crowd, there was like 10, 12 guys who had zombie makeup on. And then the further back you get, they just have cheap rubber masks for everybody else because they know you're not going to be able to see them. But now, if you get yourself a 4K version of Land of the Dead and freeze frame on the zombies' heads, you can see the super cheap masks. It's kind of great. Also, hey, I didn't end up playing a zombie in Land of the Dead. I only played a human, which is kind of disappointing. More reverse running. Now she's being attacked by a zombie. I've got a 4K video and I'm freeze framing, but I still can't make out what's written on this guy's shirt. Is that a crest of some kind? Is this a zombie biker? Apparently the time loop started on October 24th. We could theoretically use the sunrise and sunset to make a guesstimation about where the story is set, at least what parallel it's on. For example, I live in Ottawa, and on that day in Ottawa, the day lasted 10.5 hours from sunrise to sunset. To get an 11-hour day at that time of the year, you'd have to go down to the 36th parallel, which is this line. It runs right through Nashville, Tennessee, so presumably the time warp is somewhere on this line. Of course, the calendar might not be accurate, because that's an absolutely deranged time for the sun to be coming up in October. On the 36th parallel, the sun would be coming up a full hour later, unless of course this calendar doesn't do daylight savings time. In which case, bravo filmmakers, this is all dead on for the 36th parallel around Nashville, Tennessee. Unfortunately, Tennessee does do daylight savings time. There's just a single state on the 36th parallel that doesn't, Arizona. And, well, I don't know how much you know about Arizona, but this could not possibly be Arizona. Also, Arizona is so far to the west of the Mountain Time Zone that the sunrise time makes no sense whatsoever. Really, the whole idea of a daily calendar with the sunrise and sunset on it is absolutely deranged, because you need one custom-made for the exact place you live. Any change in latitude alters the length of a day, and any change in longitude alters the precise sunrise and sunset. The world is 40,000 kilometers around, 24,000 miles. For Americans, British people, and I think Samoans? A day is 1,440 minutes long. This means that every 28 kilometers to the east, it's 1 real minute later, and every 28 kilometers to the west, it's 1 real minute earlier. I know that narratively, they want the characters to know exactly what time sunrise is, given the whole Until Dawn thing. But could you not just have had someone write it on a wall somewhere? There were other people trying to escape this thing, after all. And maybe, like in Triangle, actually, you know what? I would have to give a spoiler for Triangle here to make the point I was going to make there, and I don't want to do that because Triangle is so amazing, which you just gotta watch Triangle if you haven't, is my real point here. It's Christopher Smith's best movie, which is saying something because he makes a lot of really good movies, including Black Death, which he wrote with Dario Poloni, who, of course, is the credited screenwriter of Little Hope. Boom! I knew if I let this tangent go on long enough, we'd get back to Supermassive Games. So, where was I? Right, back to the trailer. Based on the shirt sleeves, it's looking more and more like this is her arm at the start of the trailer. More importantly, though, that's pretty clearly a map of Pennsylvania on the wall behind them, which makes sense for it being a mining town, and means all of that stuff about time zones and calendars was a giant waste. Sorry, everybody. More stuff we've seen before. Closet Attack, which feels right out of Friday the 13th or Dead by Daylight. Zombie Girl, them acknowledging that things are changing every night. Creepy doll in a chair. Fun fact, this is closer to the real Annabelle than the one in the movies. Are these masks that possess people and turn them into killers? Because that's Hoodie Girl attacking the guy with the doll. I certainly hope so, because masks that turn you into killers is the plot of my beloved Friday the 13th novel series. I really like the look of that troll. Something about that little girl zombie really does make me think about Cabin in the Woods, although this one does have both arms. Between the mask that makes the Hoodie Girl kill, the floating hallway ghost, and the slasher, that's 3 different evil masks in one movie. I don't know if that means anything, but it's weird that there's 3 of them. Zombie Girl is a super aggressive pursuer, I'll give her that. Is this lady ballooning up because she's pregnant with an alien or demon baby? I'm not psyched about it either way. Here's a slightly better look at the lady with the breathing apparatus, who then attacks Hoodie Girl. This crawling scene suggests that the arm from the beginning is definitely hers, although this isn't quite the same scene, as this is sand and she's not bloody yet. Hey, is that the Glory Witch attacking her? We got zombies in a hallway, people being dragged down a tunnel, running through the woods, and now she's dragged into a grave with the bloody hands we saw earlier. And we close with the door shutting on an evil hallway. Lots of interesting shots this time around, and somehow this makes the whole thing feel even less like Until Dawn than it did before. Maybe it's the lack of a shot establishing the mining paraphernalia this time. Still, it's nice to see that they're not just going to be trapped in the house the whole time. In addition to the caves, we've got an industrial setting for the zombie girl chase, the witch's house, swamp, tunnels, lots of stuff in the woods. None of it looks like Until Dawn, of course, but at least there's going to be plenty of variety in the settings each night. I'll continue to be cautiously optimistic. Will this tie into Until Dawn other than via casting and some Wendigos? Doesn't look like it. Should they have just called it Dead by Daylight? Probably. We'll all still go see it opening weekend nonetheless, if only in the hopes of convincing Sony not to cancel the I'm pretty sure it's gotta be in production Until Dawn 2. For now though, I've been the Hidden Object Guru. Thanks for watching. If you had a good time and you'd like to see more, there's buttons coming up to help with that. Questions, comments, suggestions for other topics for me to cover, go in the comment section below the video. Sony, if you're listening, hi, I am available to consult on Until Dawn 2 at reasonable prices. Check out my game, Clown in the Woods, over at itch.io. I'll see you back here for more Until Dawn, but until then I'll say that's right. Au revoir.